I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Hi, welcome. It's Oops the Podcast. I'm Francis. This is Giulio Gallerati. We, every week, do this.
That's true. We do.
And we're back again.
Every week.
For more of it. As
more
usual.
More of it?
I've been feeling, let me ask you something. Do you notice when women have particularly hairy forearms? Is that something you notice?
Let's say I think I notice when people have hairy forearms regardless of gender.
Oh, how progressive of you.
I was just saying, like, based on what is normal for either gender's arm hair, if one has more than the average arm hair for that gender, I notice. Which means the answer is yes.
I saw a woman who looked like a goat lately.
She was really...
Recently, yeah. She had long arm hair, not armpit hair. That doesn't bother me. Whatever. Do whatever you want. I don't care. But I just remarked in my brain, my goodness, that woman's arm hair is comprehensive.
Juicy.
Yeah. Did you ever shave weird parts of your body?
I once shaved my legs.
Why?
I don't know. One of my boys talked me into it. Like, we noticed how, like, all the tennis players and all the swimmers and stuff would just shave their legs and how it just looked super clean.
Why would the tennis players do it?
I'm not really sure, dude.
The swimmers say they do it to eliminate drag.
That makes sense. Maybe
sure does.
I was
tennis,
thinking
I don't get that.
I was thinking that maybe somehow by having shaved legs, you don't have as much sweat buildup and therefore, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not really sure.
They keep cooler?
Maybe, yeah. Like, I'm not totally sure the reasoning behind it.
When I was doing a lot of skiing, I would sometimes shave my leg just up to where, the end of the boot kind of went. Because I would get all this shin bang. That's what they called it. Sort of the rubbing from where the hairy part of your leg was against the boot.
Good old shin bang.
Shin bang.
Love some shin bang.
So I did that, but then I remember, I would be playing basketball, and if I didn't wear socks to that same level, I looked ridiculous. Looked like a poodle that had been crimped, coiffed.
That's funny.
Yeah. But the reason I asked this, I was thinking, when puberty started for me, I was early and I was fearful of it. And I didn't want it to start. I didn't want to be the first.
Interesting.
So I hid it.
But aren't you naturally hiding it by, the only thing that really is different is the pubic region.
Yeah, well,
right?
no, I had armpit hair and I would shave that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I didn't want to be the first of my friends. I thought, I don't want to be a man yet. I'm not ready for this.
Wow.
I don't want to be a hairy old man.
So did you know how to shave yet, though? Like, did you cut your armpit shaving?
I think I might have been shaving my face already. Yeah. I'm not entirely sure.
And what was this, like 7th grade, 6th grade?
Probably more like 5th grade.
Wow.
Maybe 6th grade. No, it was probably 6th grade.
That's still really early, dude.
Yes, but get this. Then I was playing AAU basketball, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there were all these kids on my team from Gorham and South Portland. Gorham, Maine. That's where they had the haunted hayrides.
Those are always a good time.
Let me tell you something. A lot of those people who are working the haunted hayrides now, they've been working them for about 15 years. That's a dead-end job. That'll suck you right in.
So is it like a seasonal job, though? Like, I'm assuming they don't only do that.
Oh, that's only around Halloween, yeah.
Some extra holiday bucks?
Couple.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Vroom, vroom.
That's it.
There's always the chainsaw guy who chases.
They'd have the chainsaw without the chain on it. They would rev it, and then they would scare children.
Haunted houses are way more exhilarating than haunted hayrides, in my opinion.
The haunted hayride was a pretty good haunted hayride they had in Gorham, Maine. Yeah, it was.
I feel like there's less possibilities with the haunted hayride.
Oh, they went all out. They had a 16-wheeler Mack, a Mack truck that would out of nowhere at some point in the woods,
That's
you're
pretty
going
good.
through this wooded. You can't see anything. It's just a narrow
Oh,
track.
that's good.
And they, out of nowhere, all of a sudden, the truck would turn on its lights, lean into the horn, and drive at you.
Oh, that's pretty good.
And you didn't see it. It's close.
That's really good.
So you think you're all of a sudden about to get hit by
Get T-boned.
a 16-wheeler truck. I'm like, what happened to the fucking headless horseman and the
Oh, that's-
chainsaw guy? We're on the highway now?
That's good, dude.
Is that-
That is very good.
How do we... So the haunted hayride was good. I never went with a date. I was too young, and then I stopped going. But it would have been a good date.
It would be a great day, dude. The best.
Fear is a great aphrodisiac.
Totally. It really is.
Scaring the shit out of each other.
brings
You
people
gotta
together.
hold on to each other. Next thing you know,
You're fucking
Pipe.
You know, dude. So the best haunted house that I ever went to was in New York City. I don't think they do it anymore, but the way they did it was like each room of the haunted house was based on a real serial killer.
wow.
Which was cool. And they did a thing which I don't think is uncommon where you mark your head if you don't want to be touched.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're a fucking tough guy, you don't do that. So my friend and I go and do this. Dude, this was an amazing nuance. We go into the John Wayne Gacy room, who was the killer clown guy. And he used to like do shit to little boys. Like it was really fucked up, scary shit. And at one point, he would open the floor and ask for a volunteer to get in the floor.
Oh, gosh.
And my friend volunteered. He then went in the floor. Then they closed the trap door. And then you continue with the haunted house without your friend for like 10 minutes.
Oh.
That's good.
Well, what did he do down there?
He goes on his own little personalized experience and then eventually hops out and scares you again 10 minutes later.
Your friend did?
Yeah. And I was
Did he
kind
go with the John Wayne Gacy guy?
No, the John Wayne Gacy guy put him in the floor. And then we don't know what happened to him once he was in the floor.
It's a bit of an Underground Railroad nod.
Yeah, dude, crazy. And
Yeah.
then eventually he pops out and scares the shit out of you. But it's just like the idea of completely separating somebody from the group in a really creepy way. Like any unexpected thing like that makes the haunted house
Yes.
hit different.
Those interactive haunted houses, I never had the gumption to take one on. I watched some YouTube trailers for them, and it's very psychologically disturbing stuff. You walk into a room and you witness somebody choking with a plastic bag over their head.
Oh God.
And then like that's it.
Right.
You're like, what was that
was
for?
that?
Why do we need that?
That was
What
unnecessary.
about goblins and ghouls?
I know. What's with the dude? Totally.
I don't know if I needed
Why aren't goblins and ghouls good enough?
mob death reenactment in my face.
Dude, so have you seen that show on Netflix, The Dark Tourist?
No.
It's really good. This is a recommendation of mine. It's the same guy who made the Tickling documentary on HBO.
I never saw that either.
That was, dude. So, okay, let me backtrack. The Tickling documentary is about this guy who used to take videos of people getting tickled and then like use it to blackmail them. Dude, it's crazy. I think it's called Tickled. Dude, I had an anxiety attack watching it and I had to go to the hospital. I'm serious.
Here's a classic Julio moment.
I'm serious. I had,
Watching tickling docs. Has to
Tickled.
go to the hospital.
had to go to the hospital.
200-something episodes in. We've never heard this fucking
I forgot
story.
about this, dude. So like my chest just started to tighten up and I thought there was something wrong with me. Like I was having a heart attack and I went to the hospital.
What
And then-
troubled you? What triggered this? Was it the tickling or the blackmail?
It's hard to explain, man. It's just such a fucked up, weird documentary.
Why
And then
would
they-
you watch it?
Dude, because I don't know, because people are like, you gotta watch this, you know what I mean? And
Who said that?
like Scopo, dude, like some of these like comedians we know, this guy Chris Scopo, like those kind of people, you know what I mean? Like, dude, you gotta watch this. So anyway, then they like confront the guy who's doing the dude. It's just really fucking weird. It's this New Zealander guy who does it, and then I started watching The Dark Tourist, also by this person from New Zealand. I didn't realize it was the same guy. So I was like, man,
Oh.
people from New Zealand just make really amazing investigative shows.
So Dark Tourist is also a documentary?
It's a documentary series and it's about the idea of dark tourism, like the idea that you will travel somewhere to explore a place's dark past. So for example, they go to like a place in Kazakhstan that's the most nuclear tested area in the world, like shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
One of the places this guy goes is, I think it's somewhere in Tennessee. It's somewhere down south. It's the scariest haunted house that exists.
Mm.
And it's so scary that they customize an experience for you. And no one has ever gotten through it without tapping out, ever, in the history of its existence.
Oh,
Most people will make it like a few minutes and then they're like this is too fucked up. I'm out.
Now,
And say their safe word.
now. Oh, it's arranged.
It's arranged by this fucking weird guy.
Oh gosh.
It's like sadistic guy. You pay him and he makes the most like you tell him all your fears and he makes the most fucked up possible experience for you. And every single person has tapped out.
He tailors it to
Yes.
you.
Yes.
What if you just lied and said my greatest fears are a cotton candy machine overflowing and goldfish that are larger than usual and
Dude, he would somehow make it fucked up though.
my girlfriend walking in on my girlfriend getting plowed.
Dude, you
What's he gonna do?
wouldn't want to say that part.
What's he gonna do?
Dude, I don't know, but this, if you watch this, you will be like, this is crazy. So fine, but I think that there's also like generic stuff that scares everybody that you wouldn't even make it to the
Right,
your
obviously,
girlfriend getting
but I
plowed.
wouldn't say spiders. I wouldn't say, knife death.
Okay, fine, but dude, like all of those things suck anyway. So like,
So that you got to figure that's already going to be in there.
yes,
He,
stuff
he
that
plays the hits.
correct,
And yeah,
dude, exactly.
he plays the hits, and then also adds a little personal touch.
Correct. That's exactly what happens.
Do you have any interest in doing something like that?
No, absolutely not, dude.
Okay. Now, let's talk about, I guess, more haunted houses, more in the sense of spirits and whatnot.
Okay.
Scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the most, and there are no such thing as ghosts. This is all nonsense. 10 being a complete believer. Where do you fall?
As far as ghosts go
On the
and
scale.
belief, or like my fear of them.
I would say ghost belief. Yeah.
Okay, I would say somewhere in the middle.
Really?
Like
5 or 6?
I don't think it's absolute bullshit. But I'm also not scared of them necessarily, unless I watch like a very scary thing about it. Because then, no matter what I watch that's scary, if I'm in my bed, I think that thing's in the corner of the room.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So you're easily sold.
But no, it's not that I'm easily sold. I'm easily scared. What the fuck? Just fucking taking subtle shots at me, dude. But as far as ghosts and shit go, I'm not like adamantly a believer that they don't exist, and I'm not an adamant believer that they're like here to do mischief and harm.
You know your scare level. You don't sign up, therefore, for any of these haunted houses. Or
I like
anything.
haunted houses though. I like to be scared, but I
you wouldn't
get
go
scared.
to the most horrifying one.
I wouldn't go to the the most horrifying one though is like you get tortured, dude. You know what I mean?
That's the one in Atlanta?
Yeah,
is this it?
no, I think it's in Tennessee. I'm not
Tennessee?
positive. Watch The Dark Tourist. It's really good. But it's on Netflix. The haunted house in general, I'll go to. Like the scary one with the John Wayne Gacy and all that. I had a fun at that. I get scared shitless, but I have a good time.
Uh-huh.
What does this not make sense to you?
Uh,
The thrill of fear.
yeah, but I guess it's a little bit like a Scoville unit type thing.
What's that?
That's the heat scale on,
Oh,
on,
okay.
on
Yeah,
spice.
yeah. Fair.
So you are willing to enjoy it to a certain point, but then after that you say, that's too far.
Yeah, sometimes I'm not extreme about it.
Well,
What
my
about- what
thought
about
is
you?
that if you say, I enjoy being scared, then why wouldn't you want the greatest one possible?
Because the greatest one possible is too much. It's the same way like with heat. Like I enjoy spice very much, yet I wouldn't eat a Carolina whatever pepper with those fucking
Right.
guys in Florida, you know?
Right.
So
Interesting.
that's sort of where I stand on it. I don't know. What about you?
No, I don't think I'm up for much of a haunted house thing.
Do you watch scary shit?
I used to.
Mm-hmm.
So much of that depends on who you're with, I find.
So like
My girlfriend won't watch anything
yeah,
scary.
same. Mine won't either.
We watched Haunting of Hill House. And
So fucking good.
it was incredible.
It's incredible.
But she really struggled with it.
it's really fucking scary.
It's
in her
really
defense.
scary. Yeah.
Really scary.
It's really scary,
It's another recommendation,
but it's so well acted and so well shot that
dude. And it's as tragic as it is jump out scary.
absolutely.
You know, it'll make you feel sad as much as it'll make you feel terrified.
Yeah. So we watched that and man, she didn't love it. But I kind of said we gotta stick it out. And she said okay. And so then after that I didn't want to put her through that anymore.
That's funny. Dude, I've watched that from start to finish 3 times.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's the only thing that I've watched multiple times, really, to be honest. And it, like you said, it's a you have to stick with it show.
Mm-hmm.
The first 4 episodes where they do all the backgrounds of each character are a little slow. Like they're good, but they're like a little slow.
Yeah.
And but like by the end of that first episode, you're sort of hooked. But then once like bent neck lady thing gets explained, you're
Yeah.
like, holy shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Great fucking show.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Chris?
Francis, what about ghosts? How do you feel about them?
I'm a pretty hard non-believer.
Mm.
I have no problem dismissing out of hand spirits and the, those who haunt or possess houses, whatever the fuck it is. I don't know.
That's fair.
And I think, unfortunately, I have this thought that, okay, prove me wrong, right? But then in the very asking of it, they would.
Right, yes. Yes.
I would be taunting them.
Totally.
And then they would bring out the grand finale fireworks display.
So maybe you're a 1 out of 10.
Well, you got to be on the scale. I think, let's call it a 2.
Okay. So 1 is the bottom.
I'm the most agnostic I could be.
Without the fear
without
of taunt.
saying atheist.
Of trying to bring it on.
Not a ghost atheist.
Right.
But I am a very strong doubter.
Well, do you know what I'm a big believer in?
What's that?
Sparkling tequila beverages with your fucking
Are
boys.
you? Is that? Yeah, I believe in that.
I believe in that for sure,
I'm
man.
a big fan.
I said it on last week's episode. This is the nicest T-shirt that I own.
Yeah.
The Cheeto.
We're talking about Cheetos, CHIDO. It's the new sparkling tequila company that is taking beaches by storm. I've had a lot of these puppies.
They're really good, man.
Been drinking them, tipping them back like Capri Suns.
They're just a delicious beverage.
I don't really tip Capri Suns.
And it's nice as the sparkling seltzer market has kind of taken off. It's a nice thing that it's starting to become a little bit more nuanced. You know what I mean? Like if you're a tequila person, you can find a tequila, and that's what this is.
Yeah, this is real tequila. Keep in mind, real tequila. It is not fake bullshit. Real ingredients, real pizza, not Papa John's. But the point is, it's Cheeto. That's what we're talking about here. We absolutely love it. And 3 grams of sugar total.
Yeah.
They've got 5 flavors: Mango Madness, the Paloma, that's my favorite, and they've got the new spicy watermelon, which is really good, sea salt margarita, and there's one more, which I can't remember, but that's okay. This stuff is incredible. Right now, you can get it in Florida, New York, New Jersey, and it's coming to a couple other states soon. But by all means, go on drinkcheeto.com right now and order yourself a couple cases. Don't just order one, because there's no point. All right? You're going to drink it so fast, and then you're going to be mad that you didn't order more. You can trust me on that.
You can.
You can really trust me on that one. I promise you. I wouldn't lead you astray.
Trust the friend.
I wouldn't lead you astray. Drinkcheeto.com. If you like tequila drinks, this is the one for you. You're going to love it. Go there now and order some.
So, dude,
we got on that subject because of something.
Puberty.
Yeah.
Gorham, Maine.
Gorham, Maine.
So
Boy,
the original point.
We'll open a door and then go away from that.
It's
door.
good that we come back.
I think it's good. We're circling back. Yeah. So all these kids on my AAU team.
For what sport?
Basketball.
Lacrosse? Oh, you played AAU hoops, bro?
Sure did. Yeah.
That's dope.
I was a big hooper until about my freshman year of high school.
I can see that.
At which point I liked skiing a lot, and I had soccer in the fall and lacrosse in the spring, and to do 3 varsity sports meant I couldn't get to the mountain, and that was too much. So I just
let her go.
Stopped the basketball. But these kids on my AAU basketball team, the Portland Pacers, okay, they all had armpit hair because they were all from cities that, towns in Maine that had, I guess, denser water. The type of water that causes you to sprout some armpit hair
so
early.
You were amongst fellow early bloomers.
Just bigger boys.
Big boys.
Bigger boys. I mean, these kids were losing their virginity at 5 years old, 10 years old. I don't know what it was. And so as soon as I saw that, I said, okay, well, then I'm not too soon.
That's good.
I'm not early.
Found your way.
And then I let it go. I let it flow.
Nice.
And then soon after that, some of my friends started catching up. It's weird.
Yeah.
You don't want to be the first guy to go through puberty.
You don't?
You certainly don't want to be the first gal.
And you don't want to be the last either.
Nobody wants to be the Lewis and Clark of boobs.
Being
You know what I
first
mean?
is always scary, bro.
Sure is.
It's always
Yeah.
scary. But I remember well which person in our school had boobs first. I'm not going to say her name because I'm pretty sure she listens. And I don't want to just like call her out. But dude, I remember
Can we call her Boobs McGee?
if you want, sure. Oh, Boobs McGee. Dude, I just remember she showed up first day of 4th grade with just a fucking big old pair of titties.
Come on.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, 4th grade.
Over the summer?
I mean, yeah. Yeah. I mean, but that makes sense. You know, it's a few month break. It's enough time to
I
like,
didn't know that they grew that fast.
she just all of a sudden came to school with a fucking rack, dude. And everybody was like in love with her.
4th grade?
Yeah.
Mm.
I remember
That would have been too quick for me.
Burst school. Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if she hits me up and is like, I know, like I had boobs. Like it was so, she was the only person with boobs.
Yeah, but okay, so here's my point, right? 4th grade, I wasn't ready to appreciate boobs.
I was just starting to come around to it. I agree with you though. Before that, it's kind of like girls are fucking gross.
Yeah. I liked girls. I had I had crushes on girls,
Yeah.
but it was more of like, you know, I want to sit near you on the bus. I want to look at
Yeah,
you
yeah.
for a while.
I got a kiss on the cheek on a ride home in a van, one of those wooden panel vans. After our two families had gone to dinner together, I got a kiss on the cheek. And she actually created a diversion to give me the kiss on the cheek. She said, look, a deer. And I looked out the window and she then kissed me on the
And
cheek.
it was being locked in a headlock by some guy and murdered. And the whole family was like, we've never seen that before. Fortunately, that was the perfect moment for her to kiss you on the cheek.
That's great. For our new listeners, our very new listeners, that's a callback to an old episode about.
I'm going to bring that up as
somebody choking out a
many
deer.
times as I possibly can.
Dude,
This is my
that's
favorite
fucking
image I've ever
great.
thought of or
It's so
heard of in my life.
But you're right. Like that's the kind of stuff you were doing. You were getting like kiss on the cheek, a peck on the lips, and that was just like.
You got a peck. When was your first peck on the lips?
Oh, I mean, I didn't get a. I kissed a girl on the bus on the way to DC, but it was part of Truth or Dare, so I don't know that counts.
You're not counting that? How old were you then?
7th grade or 8th grade.
Yeah, there you go.
But dude, if that doesn't count, then like not till senior year of high school.
Ooh.
Yeah. Speaking of blooming, I was the
Wow.
opposite of old Fran.
Yeah, the old
a
blooming
little bit of
onion
a late
over here.
bloomer.
I remember distinctly my first kiss. Have I ever told you this story?
No, I don't think so. But,
Okay.
dude, I mean, you're just really fucking giving us the kiss stories late in the game, dude. That piano teacher story.
Oh yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. Whoa, Julia still thinks about that.
Woo-hoo! On the Scoville scale or whatever.
Oh.
Woo-hoo!
Yeah, that was
That was a hot one.
yikes.
I would like to hear your first kiss story.
All right, so first kiss was end of 6th grade. Okay? And I was hanging out with Abby Atwood.
Bless her heart.
For some reason I have no problem saying her name. Well, it's just such an American name.
We just use good discretion here.
Yeah, this girl's great. But she's great. I continued to know her through high school a little bit. She's an awesome person. And we were 6th grade sort of sweethearts. And I remember 6th grade ended. Hillman always had the
Good old
dance.
Hillman, dude.
He always had the dance. At his, we were all about dances, you know?
Dances are really cool.
And he would have this dance in his garage. And what was unique about this dance was that it was only the 6th grader. The other dances that we had,
in a garage, were there 8 people in your class?
we didn't have many.
Jesus.
We probably had 50,
And they all fit in the garage?
just about.
That's not. That's
It
fucking
was
big
like a
garage.
two-car garage.
50. Well, I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
And you get close, you pack it in. But keep in mind too, not everyone's in the garage. People are kind of down in the basement. And
Sidewalk.
so, but there was this DJ, and it was always known. There was this tradition that they would play "Stairway to Heaven" as the
As the
final
last
song of
one.
the dance. They
Yeah.
do that for you too.
Yep. Middle school dances, kids night out.
Yeah,
Fucking grab onto those hips for 8 minutes.
that song is an eternity.
I
It's
know.
an 8-minute song. And so, I was dating Abby. We get together for our last slow dance. We're dancing, and we may have talked on AOL Instant Messenger about the possibility of smooching. I can't exactly remember because I don't think I would have had the balls to do it
Right.
without knowing
That it was okay.
that she was on board.
Totally.
But man, I'll tell you, that song starts, and I think to myself, okay, you got plenty of time. You got plenty of time. And, you know, we're still dancing. The guitar solo hits, and I'm like, okay, we're about 2/3 of the way through. And I'm almost having that panic attack you had over the tickling documentary. And I'm so nervous, and I'm so afraid. And I really am struggling with this. And the song ends.
Oh shit.
And I sort of hugged Abby and said, like, great, that was great. And then
Great
turned
execution.
away. And then in this moment, right, at this time, I think there was an Allstate insurance commercial. And it was playing where there's like, I don't know, T-ball, baseball, or Little League or something. Some kid, backyard baseball, hits a home run. And the ball goes through the neighbor's window of his house. It's an old man. And all the other kids are like, oh, run. And the kid who hit the home run owns up to his mistake. And he goes and he knocks on the door of the guy and he apologizes, right? And the ad flashes across their sort of the insurance company's motto at the time, which was, the greatest risk is not taking one. Allstate. And that saying stuck with me and spurred me forward. As I had turned away from Abby, I thought to myself, the greatest risk is not taking one. And I turned back around and I said, hey, Abby. And then she turned and I cut through a couple people and leaned in and I kissed her.
Wow. That was your first one?
And it was my first one.
Good job, dude.
And it was the greatest thing. And I really need to thank Allstate Insurance, I think, for giving me the confidence
Giving
to
you
do
the
that.
cojones.
Yeah.
Dude, isn't it amazing how when you were young like that, the way you would initiate a kiss would always be something weird like that? Like, hey, Abby. And then, you know what I mean? Or just like something weird. I mean, it's just crazy to look back on how hesitant I was to go for that until honestly, like late college. And then I just completely reversed. I became the like, I'm going to go for it. I don't care at all. And if she rejects me, it's okay. Because there's a way to be rejected with dignity. Like you try to kiss somebody, what are they going to hate you for trying to kiss them? It's a compliment. Even if you get rejected, they're like, sorry, I'm not interested in kissing you. And you're like, oh man, like, you doesn't have to be weird. You're like, sorry, I just really wanted to kiss you.
What about that? You know that feeling where you know that the person probably wants you to kiss them? The air is sort of thick. The air is heavy.
Yeah.
And there's this sort of magnetism. and you're in that moment and you're like, I feel like it would be okay if I did.
Yeah.
But you know you can't ask. Because
Yes.
then you puncture that heavy air balloon.
True.
And then you sort of look at each other for a bit and your eyes are like, there's
Dude.
all kinds of meaning and desire. And then you sort of lean in and next thing you know, you're locked lips and
You're smooching.
you're tying each other's tongues in knots like some shoelaces.
Yeah, it's funny, dude. There's this illusion that like you need to look for the opening. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's the stereotypical moment of like,
oh, yeah, I know what you mean. You should have seen Julio's face. I wanted to kiss him myself.
the chuckle that leads into the straight face and then the kiss. Like,
Yeah, nothing's that funny anymore. All of a sudden goes from being really funny to like, this isn't so funny anymore. Now it's important.
now it's on, baby.
There's something on the line here.
Dude, another rookie move is like closing your eyes before the kiss starts.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Like, so
Yeah, what are you doing?
Hitch captures that funnily.
It really
Remember
does.
that scene?
Hitch is a great movie.
Hitch is a really good one.
Yeah. Boy, early smooches, man. The
Oh,
early smooches. But you're right. I mean, it kind of loses its weight. It loses its standing, and it doesn't become a thing that you fear that much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember I went to a concert, some fucking techno concert in Copenhagen. Sensation White.
Sounds
I
fun.
went, Swedish House Mafia, David Guetta,
Oh, yeah.
these fucking
The
guys.
good old days, dude.
Yeah. And I think I made out with like 8 different women there. And I just kept bouncing around. It's pretty fucked up. Everyone's kissing and you're like, okay, bye. And you go on and make out with someone else. And then smooching regains its gravitas when you start smooching people that you really like.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you go on a couple dates with somebody that you are really into.
Yeah.
And that first kiss, once again, feels meaningful.
More magnitude.
Yeah.
Well, dude, the other thing about the young kissing that is an important detail is the kissing was the fucking of 8th grade.
That's it.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that was the same. So, like, that was what you talked about. Like, the amount of times I heard someone be like, she was a good kisser. And everyone's
Yeah.
like, oh, man, she was a
Yeah.
good kisser.
Yeah. It's like, well, what do you know,
Yeah, dude, like,
Tony? She
good
was your
kisser.
4th kiss.
Yeah, it's a good kisser.
You don't have enough of a sample size.
Yeah, that and second base. Those
So
are
what was
two.
your second base?
The first time I did it?
No. What was
touching-
the school's established
boobs,
second?
dude.
That's what second base
Above
was?
above the shirt counted as well.
Interesting.
What about you?
I don't even know, man. I don't know if we ever really established what the bases were.
I mean, second base is just like a weak base. You know what I mean? Like third base was there was so much going on third base. Second base was like not that
Yeah,
significant.
third base
of a
was a
base.
hive of activity.
Third base was crazy. I mean, it's like law school
You
or
might
something.
as well be married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I
Couple
mean?
of porn stars.
Or I think in law school the first year is supposed to be the hardest, right?
Yeah.
But like it's like a little jumble. Like this year 2, if the base is like the most insignificant.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That
3L,
wasn't that good of a
third
metaphor.
base. You hit a triple, man.
Forget about it.
That was nuts.
I know, man.
You know what I hit? I hit a triple this morning. I had 3 bowls of Magic Spoon cereal.
Dude, there's a
Couldn't
lot of
stop.
fiber. There's a lot of fiber in there, man.
Yeah,
If you need to
believe
take a
me.
break here.
I know. The old Magic Spoon, man, we absolutely love it. It is delicious, healthy cereal with all the tastes of the classics, and yet it's actually not bad for you. It's
Dude,
quite
it's
good
great.
for you. It's
0 grams of
nutritious.
sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving, 140 calories per serving.
Have they brought back some of the old flavors that everyone really liked?
They sure have, buddy.
Oh, good.
The cookies and cream and maple waffle are now permanent flavors.
Oh, the maple waffle.
You can build your own box or get a variety pack with the available flavors as well. Cocoa, fruity frosted, peanut butter, blueberry, and cinnamon.
I'm still a big fan of the peanut butter for what it's worth.
The PB is
FWIW.
delicious.
Yeah.
This is all good stuff. You can go to magicspoon.com/oops.
Mm-hmm.
Grab yourself any combination of any of the stuff we've just said. You get $5 off of your order. Magicspoon.com/oops. Use promo code oops at checkout to save $5 off. We think you guys are going to be happy.
Yeah. Hit your triples, folks.
Hit your triples, baby.
Third base, Magic Spoon. Enjoy it.
Well, dude, I have a question. This is I think a good segue into this question that I have for you.
Mm-hmm.
This is about hand holding
Great.
as an adult.
I'm so glad you brought this up because hand holding it's a whole language of its own, I think.
So my first question is, do you hold hands with your lovely lady in public?
We do. Yeah, we do. But our hands get sweaty pretty quickly.
And then you take a
then
few
we-
strides.
Yeah, and then
you
we let
disconnect.
go.
How do you hold her hand? Do you want to show me? We can do it together.
We go interlock.
You interlock?
Yeah, dude, the only time you should be doing the cupping
No, but this is
holding-
the wrong way to do the cupping.
That's wrong.
This is
Oh,
wrong. No,
what's
you
your
cup
way?
like this. If you cup underneath, not from above.
Well, who gets the under and the over?
Wait, but there's a way to do both. How did you just do it to me? You did this. Yeah, this is weird. This is like a reverse. This is.
No, but that's only, you have to think about this. Whatever you don't like could be, stop trying to hold my fucking hand.
I just keep holding my hand out.
Stop it.
Okay.
So here's,
Okay.
so it's just a question of what, because she might not want to be the underling.
Right.
So you like a certain way.
So this is the thing: as if you're gonna do the palm hold, as the man, you initiate the palm hold. Now, my girlfriend has the same pushback that you have. She's like, "What are you, 3 years old? You hold hands with the palm. I'm
I
like,
just feel like that's you're leading a blind person through a grocery store.
well, dude, the interlock, it feels like you're holding knuckle and you're not holding hand. I want to hold hand. I don't want to hold knuckle.
Okay.
I prefer the palm hand hold, but she tells me that that's immature and embarrassing. So we tend to just not end up holding hands because she makes fun of me.
It's a little Winnie the Pooh-esque. Just think you're looking at like two people with mittens for hands. No defined, digits.
Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robin.
Yeah.
So you think the interlock's the only way
I
to
think
go?
the interlock is the romantic way. I would hold a child's hand, my child's hand, with the palm method. I would
Interesting.
palm my child's hand.
Interesting.
I don't think that I wouldn't interlock with a child's hand.
Is that like the equivalent of palming your spoon instead of holding it with your fingers?
I think a little bit. It's a little bit of a truck driver hold. Yeah.
Dude, I gotta be honest. People, when I see my friends do the palm spoon hold in adulthood, and there are people that do it, I'm like pretty blown away. I'm like, dude, I equate that with not having manners, to be honest.
I mean, it's that, and it's also just a sign of somebody who probably doesn't understand, parts of speech, doesn't really read
Right,
much.
it makes you seem like an idiot.
Very, very simple-minded. It's a throwback to Cro-Magnon man.
Yes.
People
yes.
eating with a spoon made from the bone spur of an antelope that they speared and then dragged back to the cave and then ate via candlelight or firelight.
Brow ridges and all.
And told their stories by carving them into the wall with pictures.
That's too funny.
I don't think holding a spoon in the fist is something anyone should do. That's ridiculous. But back to the hand holding. I'm surprised to hear that you do that. Don't you find that the interlocking handhold is more intimate?
I find the palm to be more intimate. I feel like you're touching more of them when you do it. And the palm is the epicenter, whereas I find that the knuckle openings are the epicenter of the interlock. And I find that to be less intimate, personally.
Huh. The one thing I don't love about the interlock is that the bones start to push against each other, and then your fingers hurt.
Totally. It's like this pre-arthritic.
Spindly.
It's not great.
Yeah, it's a little bone on bone.
A little bone on bone. A little too bone on bone for your boy.
Yeah. Oh.
But
I'll tell you, man, I'll never forget that I had my first kiss before I held a girl's hand.
That's interesting.
And then holding hands was something I feared more than kissing.
Why?
I don't know.
Just the idea of like and how to initiate it.
Something about it. It felt more advanced sexually than kissing. Isn't that weird?
No, that time was just a weird time, man. Like even at the end of the year, the last day of school, I remember that like you would try to hug every hot girl.
Hugging was
and that
big.
was a big deal. Like you'd be like, oh, I hugged and then you'd go home and talk to your boys about who you hugged.
Yeah. So our school was a little nuts on AOL Instant Messenger. This was where all of the flirting and every kind
Ours
of
too.
anything happened was all on AOL Instant Messenger. So I will never forget that for whatever reason it became a thing where if you started going out with somebody, someone became your established girlfriend or whatever, boyfriend, you would put in your profile and tell each other on IM, I love you. And then in the profile, it would be like, love you,
Oh yeah.
Alice. I would have said her last name. This was a real girl. And I mean, you're not going to believe this, but she was like murdered
What?
years later.
Oh my God. How?
She was in Atlanta dating this guy who was like a chef. They lived together. And that guy, I think, had some kind of beef with two bad guys.
Oh,
and they
no.
came to the house and killed them both.
Oh my
Shot them.
God, dude.
I was
Jesus.
her first kiss.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's one of the most, it's just astonishing, bizarre, horrific things.
Dude, getting murdered is just like the craziest thing. It just really is, bro. Like think about how few people you know who have been murdered. And
I was going to ask you, do you know anybody that's been killed?
yeah, and dude, I mean, there's
Intentionally?
yes, and thank God that there is that we don't know that many people, because I imagine some people can't say the same.
I thought
Some
you were about
people-
to do that life insurance read that
No,
we
no.
did for a while. And I was like, oof, I don't know, Julio. This doesn't seem like the time.
Next episode, dude. Next episode. But yeah, I know one guy who got stabbed to death because he was banging this kid's girlfriend, and the guy led him out to the woods to go fishing. He didn't
Oh
know
my
that he knew.
God.
Fucking stabbed him to death. Crazy. And dude, then my fucking manager, R.I.P. And it's actually like the year, 2-year anniversary since he
Dave
was killed. And you
Kimmelwitz.
know him too.
Yeah. Mhm.
In his own house, same thing, stabbed. I mean, dude, it's the most insane news to get. I mean, somebody dying is already insane news. Like somebody getting murdered is just like,
Yeah.
it fucking rocks your world, man.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm curious about that. The one where the guy led the guy out to
Yeah.
fish.
Yeah, this guy was
So-
a good guy too. I mean,
Well, here's my question. So you said he hooked up with the guy's girlfriend?
I think so.
So why was he not skeptical that that guy might be up to no good?
I mean, I think that those two, I mean, this guy was sort of a woodsman, if I remember correctly. Him going fishing wouldn't have been a crazy thing for him to have been doing. He lived in the part of town that was like the most rural, and everywhere in these towns is rural, but this was the most rural. It was like near the power plant. There's a nuclear power plant in my town. I don't know if I think I maybe shared that once. Anyway, so his boy being like, hey man, it would be the same as me saying to you, like, let's do whatever we do.
Yeah, but this is the thing. It would be you saying that. It would be me saying to you, yo, let's go fishing. If you know that I'm a big fisherman or whatever, but you've banged my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And
But I've been banging your girlfriend and you don't know. And you haven't known this whole time. So there's no reason for me to think that suddenly on this particular day, out of all the days that we've gone fishing.
so
that you would know.
we've been fishing a bunch.
Yes, we fish all the time.
Boy, you're a bad guy for continuing to bang my girlfriend while I keep baiting your hook.
I know. I mean, dude,
No offense to that guy. I mean,
but you know, he was a good dude. You know, when I knew him, at least this happened a couple years after we graduated. But it was a huge bummer.
and so he was stabbed.
Correct.
And then did the guy confess?
I believe so.
Oof.
I know. It's fucking dark.
And that
dude.
guy's in prison?
I to my knowledge, yes.
How much time do you get for something like that?
I think life.
That's murder one. It's premeditated
that's premeditated
murder,
murder. I think you're pretty much fucking toast for that,
Really?
right? Maybe not.
If it's your first offense?
I don't know. Actually have absolutely no idea.
I don't know.
You were the paralegal.
I know, but we didn't
This
have,
wasn't
we
your-
had street crimes. We didn't have too
Gotcha.
many murders.
Gotcha.
Murder's a big deal.
Yeah.
What do you got, Chris?
Just did some digging.
Generally sentence of 50 years to life, 25 years to life in some circumstances.
Okay. So
Okay.
you're a good boy for 25 years. You can maybe get out on parole.
Yeah, maybe they get parole or whatever.
Damn.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, I had forgotten about Alice being murdered. We weren't in touch much after I went to a different high school. Which is the reason I was telling this story about the I love you thing, because what was happening, we were at this school I was from school from 1st to 8th grade. It was a small school, a small private school. And then I went to this much bigger school for high school. I switched schools. And as soon as I got to that new school, I started sort of like flirting with this girl. And I think we were like, yeah, let's go out. And obviously she had a very different understanding of what that meant from where she had gone to middle school versus me. And I instantly put in my
right.
AOL Instant Messenger profile, like, I love ILY Erica or something.
Well,
Because that was just the way
will
things
you go
were.
out with me is how you asked someone to be
Yeah.
your girlfriend back then.
Yeah. And then that really spooked her.
Is that for you too, Chris? When you were like in middle school, will you go out with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that spooked her, and then, I would find out a year later or 2 years later, like that she and her friends thought that me doing that was the
Oh.
weirdest thing ever. And it was no way for me to explain, like, well, that's just what I was accustomed, that's how we did
That's
it, where
how we
I
did it
came
there.
from. I didn't mean anything weird. I didn't actually love you.
Did she say she figured that out eventually, or did she not even give you that?
No, she didn't really give me that much.
That
Yeah.
that's
And you
fucked
know
up.
what? That's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay, because she wasn't the one.
She wasn't the one.
No, Erica wasn't the one.
She wasn't.
No. And I hope she's listening to that,
Sorry, Erica.
so that she knows now that I didn't love her. And that even if we had somehow found a way past that and she'd been understanding, eventually I would have dumped her.
Okay.
You know, you hearing me, Erica, out there? You horrible person. No, she's sweet. She's sweet. I don't know. Maybe she's bad.
Fucking Erica,
Maybe
dude.
she's killed people.
She may have.
Murder though. Yeah, dude, I don't know. It's tough. I don't know too many people who have either been intentionally killed or killed somebody.
Yeah, I know the guy who did you ever hear this story? The guy who like killed this guy at like a late night hang, and then he tried to like burn his body and get away with it, and it turned out that like his sugar daddy is this jeweler. Did you ever read that whole story? It's like this big story.
That did ring a bell.
Yeah, there's
somehow,
this big,
the jeweler
huge,
thing.
this huge story, and we knew this kid, and he said that the guy was his long lost dad, and he had all these. He had like a fancy watch, like all this shit, and he's like, yeah, like I've reconnected with my dad, but it just turned out that it was his sugar daddy, and then this whole thing happened where he like killed.
I vaguely remember that,
Yeah.
and he killed the older man.
No. He
The
killed
sugar daddy killed the kid.
No. This kid just killed some other kid. Like they like went back to his apartment. They were fucked up. I don't know what the hell happened. Like it was over cigarettes. It was like something stupid. And then
man.
he ended up killing the guy. And it was this whole big story. Well, dude, I'll tell you this. If anybody is planning on murdering anybody, I definitely recommend doing it in a pair of bird dogs.
Yeah, it is the outfit of choice for would-be assassins. You're not going to be constricted, that's for sure.
The underwear are built in, therefore there's less likelihood of different elements of clothing being used as evidence because they are all together as one.
Yeah.
If you need to suddenly jump in the water and be amphibious, your shorts will be perfectly up to the task.
That's it. I feel like we should probably say, by the way, that the brand of Birddogs in no way would claim to be the outfit of choice for murdering. I don't think that that's what they're about at all. But these are our words, not theirs. But it's the point remains.
Yeah.
They are great shorts for
crime.
your
in general.
misdeeds. Yeah. Shorts and pants, underwear built in, incredibly comfortable. We love them. We wear them all the time. Wearing them right now. Birddogs.com, promo code OOPS. You'll get something.
You sure will.
You'll get something. We don't know what it is. So get your bird dogs. This is what we needed to get to here.
Mm-hmm.
Could you kill somebody?
I don't think so, dude.
So you kill somebody.
Like it depends.
Are you then telling people you're coming forward about it?
It just, dude, it depends. Like, unfortunately, like a lot of it is kind of circumstantial. Like if I was 18 years old and somehow, was convinced that going to the army was the move for me, and I end up in a war and I end up killing people.
Yeah.
Does that not count?
No.
You mean
We're not going
clandestine
there.
murder?
This is what I mean. I'll give you a couple different circumstances.
Okay.
Okay? So it's today.
Okay.
You're you at your age.
Okay.
Everything's the same. You're hanging out with somebody, maybe not even a friend. I don't know. For whatever reason, they die,
Mhm.
and you're the cause.
Oh, wow.
Maybe it's an accident.
Okay.
Maybe you were goofing around. You give him a playful shove. He falls
Fell down the
backward,
stairs.
hits his head on a rock, and dies.
Mhm.
Okay? You're out in the woods, though. Nobody is going to find out for some reason. Like, people don't know that the two of you are hanging out.
Do I know that but like, there's no way to know that for a fact.
There's a really,
I'd be too
really
paranoid.
good chance that no one will find out. Not only that, but I feel like if you don't hide the body, like if you don't do what you have to do, people will find out that it was you.
Wow.
And it would be very hard for you to convince people that it was an accident, right? So it's looking really bad for you, and
Mhm.
you have to take action. Could you do it?
No, I think I would still just try my best to make people believe that I didn't do it, because dude, like trying to hide it, and then if they find out, but like you said, there's like I almost definitely will get away with it. But dude, it's somebody I know. I just literally couldn't do it. Could you do it?
Oh, it's tough to come up with this scenario, right? Where as soon as it happens, you instantly know I'm fucked from how this looks. There's no way that I will be able to convince a jury that this was a complete accident. Maybe the person you're with, the two of you hate each other and people know that, right?
Okay.
And maybe you were trying to actually like
Work it out.
squash your beef, but one of you brought a gun to shoot doves.
He brought the gun.
He brought a gun to do a little pheasant hunting. And you're playing around with the gun. He's showing you how it works. Accidentally, the gun goes off. You kill him, right? And everyone knows the two of you don't like each other. They don't know that the two of you were trying to sort out your differences. And all of these horrible coincidences make you look very guilty.
I mean, dude, it would have to be the absolute once in a generation perfect storm of like, in order for me to think that you intentionally killed this guy, the amount of coincidence, it would just be like so unlikely. But for the sake of this exercise, fine. And I still don't think that I could try to cover it up. I just don't think I could do it. I couldn't live with it. I would just be like,
Okay. Let's say you panic.
Mhm.
You try to cover it up, and you do cover it up. Somehow you get rid of the body,
okay.
bury it, or tie it up in a bag, and then put a bunch of bricks, and then throw it into the Gowanus Canal. Then is the guilt so heavy that you can't live with it and you confess?
No, I mean, dude, once I'm that far, I'm not confessing.
Oh,
but I would never get that far though.
Okay.
So if I were to be doing that, I would commit to it. I'm gonna still stick with the fact, or with the idea that I could not commit to it.
Okay. Here's another one. Ready?
Mhm.
Let's say that Hillary killed someone.
Uh,
Okay, and she calls you in a panic.
mhm.
She's like, "You're not. I'm crying. I can't believe this. This is what happened. It's gonna look so bad. It looks so bad." And you're like, "Okay, no problem. I'll be right there." And you go and you walk in and you're like, "Yeah, oh, this looks real bad. You know, her fingerprints are everywhere on the murder weapon. You know, all what like all the accident. It's an accident. Whatever. Could you cover it up for her?"
No. Dude, I couldn't. I just couldn't do it. I honestly would be more likely to cover it up for myself than for her.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah.
We're being real.
Yeah.
And by the way, she would never be able to like, she's the least likely person that I know to be able to like try to hide some shit like that.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Where do
got
you
it.
stand on all this, dude?
I don't really know. Honestly, you hearing your responses helps me sort of piece through the process of it myself.
Mhm.
There are times where I'm watching a movie where someone gets murdered. I watched The Heat for the first time. Or Heat.
Oh, it's great.
What an incredible movie.
It's so good.
It's one of those ones that I don't know how I missed it.
I know. Val
And
Kilmer's
people would
so
probably
dope.
make fun of me for having missed it as long as they did.
It's a really good one.
Yes.
I watched that one a couple years ago too, and was in the same boat.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of murdering in that movie, a lot of killing.
Mhm.
And you sort of become desensitized to it. And then you ask yourself, well, could I do that?
Mhm.
Could I shoot somebody?
Mhm.
Could I kill somebody? Whatever. And as you said, they're watching that movie, I thought, yeah. But then you kind of try to put it a little bit more realistic to your own life. You shape it around the circumstances you're living in. And I think that it would be very hard for me.
Yeah.
There,
I'm sorry.
do you have in your mind, if I said to you right now, in your life, you get to kill one person, no one will ever find out, no consequences, and it's over. Does someone come into your brain?
Yeah.
You have one person in your brain.
Uh-huh.
Presented with that opportunity, would you do it?
No.
Oh my God, dude. Come on.
What about you? I just wouldn't.
I wouldn't, but I think that the reason is that it would give me more satisfaction to watch them grovel and then say, you're not even worth the bullet.
That's good. That's good. I'll be honest though, I could be convinced that it was for the good of mankind.
Oh, that's how bad this person is?
If it turned into that, there's a chance, more of a likelihood that I could be able to do it.
Uh-huh.
If it wasn't just my personal thing.
Interesting. I do have someone in my mind too. I know exactly who it would be.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it somebody you know personally or no?
No.
Same.
It's someone I've spoken to.
Okay.
But it's funny because I really don't want to say anything about who this person is, because if they were to accidentally die instantly, I would be a suspect based on this conversation.
Correct. I know. It's crazy. It's a crazy world.
And I don't even, I do think I would love it if they died. Is that a horrible thing to say?
No.
No, you know what?
It's human.
I don't think I want them to die. What I really want, and I think I've said this before.
You think you want them to die.
I think I would love for like terabytes of child pornography to be discovered on their hard drive.
That's your go-to, dude.
I've had that fantasy, not fantasizing about the child pornography, but that a squad of, FBI agents bursts through their door with that big battering ram and says, don't touch that keyboard. He's trying to scrub it, but he's not in time. And then he's in jail for that. And his reputation is completely ruined. And he's painted as a total hypocrite for
living a shell of a life.
Yeah, that's what I want. That to me would be justice. I don't want him to die. Yeah.
Well, dude, we have one more thing here. Somebody emailed us this. This is quick. But I thought that you might find this interesting. Have you ever heard of Poe's Law?
Is it Edgar Allan Poe?
It
Poe?
must be. That must be the origination of it. I'm not really sure. Poe. Poe's Law.
I have not.
Okay, so this is what Poe's Law is. This guy was like, just have Francis read the Poe's Law Wikipedia article. It will explain a lot to him. So here we go. Poe's Law is adage. Is adage the word?
Yeah.
Poe's Law is an adage of internet culture stating that without a clear indicator of the author's intent, it is impossible to create a parody of extreme views such that it cannot be mistaken by some readers for a sincere expression of the views being parodied.
Okay, I kind of get what that means.
I think it does sort of play into your previous troubles that you seem to have been much better about.
Yeah, they say that this happened. This has been cited for me before.
Really?
Yeah, but so to Poe's Law.
Okay.
I find that my richest comedy lives on that edge.
Yeah.
Where people are not certain.
Right.
And unfortunately, that also is a dangerous place to live.
Right.
Because then you get accused of things, and then if you feel shitty having to explain that you were just kidding, because then that ruins the magic show.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's an example. We talked about this a number of episodes ago, but I wrote that song about the ages of consent in the country.
Oh yeah, right. Perfect example.
Yeah, so after I think, the Chris D'Elia stuff came out, I wrote this song because a lot of his fans were saying, or people were saying like, well, technically the states in which he pursued these young women, the law said that 17 was the age of consent, or 16. Which I found to be ridiculous for two reasons. One, I don't understand how we don't have some universal federal law, some minimum age of consent, which in my mind should be 18, right? I feel like 16 is way too young. And then secondly, what a specious, excuse for this behavior. Like, it doesn't matter that it happened in Illinois or whatever, and 17 there. Like, get out of here. It's still creepy.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote this song. It blew up on Twitter. It really blew up on Twitter because the woman, or the girl who had, I think, provided the microphone on Twitter for a lot of Chris D'Elia's accusers, saw it and then thought that I was making light of all of these women who had come forward. And I was trying to do the exact opposite, which was to say, like, fuck anyone who defends this behavior. this predatory behavior, because the last line of the song is like, the age of consent in our country varies state to state. Memorize this song, or just don't, or just go fuck someone your age, you know?
Right.
Okay.
I remember you getting a little bit of shit for that.
So I was going back and forth. I didn't want to engage with the crazy Twitter thing, but it started blowing up, getting towards 1 million views on Twitter. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, all these people are changing the intent of the song, because what they're saying about it is getting its own growth, likes, and then all of a sudden these top comments are defining the song, even though they didn't write it.
Right.
And I'm losing control of this thing that I made.
Mm-hmm.
So I finally dove in and I was like, listen, I was on your side. Like, I was trying to make a satirical song mocking the people who were against you guys. And then someone wrote back like, satire loses its point when it's too hard to understand that it's satire or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I wrote back to that like, if people can't tell that a song to the tune of Yankee Doodle Dandy is satire, then I can't fucking help them.
Right. That's fair. Fair point.
And that was sort of where I landed on the issue. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, if you can't tell this is satire, then my work's not for you.
Mm.
I can't cater to the lowest common denominator. We'll never get anywhere in humor if we are just playing to the dumbest person in the room.
Right.
So I don't know. What do you make of all that?
I do. I think, it's a risk to do it, you know what I mean? Because something like this can happen. However, it's so clearly a joke that doesn't really have any. It's like a victimless joke ultimately. Like, it's different. Like when you got in trouble for real, there was like it was specific enough that you could get in trouble for it.
Yeah.
Taking on a concept in a joking manner, it's ultimately low stakes. You know what I mean? And I'm sure you were a little like shook at the beginning of the day, but nothing came of it, because how could something come of that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Funny or not, I thought it was very funny, clever song. And a lot of people thought it was hilarious also.
Yeah, it was fine. It was fine. That all blew over pretty quickly. It wasn't a big deal.
No big deal.
I made a big deal of it at the time, but that's because I was nervous.
You were in the crossfire.
Yeah. Anyway, Poe's Law, is that what it's called?
Baby.
You know, the other one that I've gotten into lately is Occam's Razor.
What's that?
I just think the names of some of these things are
What the hell
so
is
cool.
that?
Occam's Razor is this, I think it's this concept in philosophy that the explanation for something that requires the least amount of assumptions is typically the correct one.
That makes sense.
A very simple way to say it is like, the simplest truth is usually the right one, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's more to it, and we can get into that on the next episode because I got to read a little more on it. But Occam's Razor, yeah, big fan.
Occam's Razor, at Francis CCLS,
Yeah,
at Not Julio, at Oops the Podcast. 2 years going strong.
hell yeah.
Let's make year 3 big, dude. Third base.
Third base.
Third base is the big one, baby.
Lots of activity, a hive.
Talk to you soon.